health fair a few months ago. But I really want to thank everybody for coming today, especially at your lunch hour. Today's topic is balanced brain and body. Whenever I do these talks, it's very personal to me. All the information that we're going to talk about today are strategies and tools and information that has changed my life personally and also in some cases saved my life. I only want to talk about things that I think are going to push you forward in your journey. Like you, I've had struggles and my ups and downs, and what I now do in my life with chiropractic is far different than I ever thought it would be. If we look at our healthcare system today, I believe that we have probably the best sick care system in the world. Unfortunately, we don't have much of a healthcare system. If you look at when we use our healthcare dollars, it's generally when we're sick. And the problem with that is we're missing out on how disease builds and how our brains function. Managing your health based upon the way you feel is very dangerous and misleading. If you ask someone how they felt the day before a heart attack, most people say they felt absolutely fine. Does anybody know the first symptom of a heart attack? 80% of the time, it's death. You have a heart attack and you die. And the day before, your family and friends have no idea because you feel fine. So when I say managing your health based upon the way you feel is dangerous, it's literally a matter of life and death. So the things that we're going to talk about here today are not only to help you live a longer life, but to create the life that you've always wanted. We're going to talk about subconscious beliefs. We're going to talk about how your brain functions. And I'm going to try to make it as engaging as we can because there's a lot of information to go through in a very short amount of time. The object really is to start to change your paradigm of how you view your own health and how you view the health of people around you. And once you learn this information, I really want you to share it with people because you could save their lives and you can change many people's lives. So the first thing I want to go through, in the first part of this presentation, excuse me, but we're going to go quickly because I want to get to the end where it's much more practical. But at the beginning, I want you to have a basis of what we're talking about. So if we look at, this is the human body, okay? The brain sits up at the top. It sends a power down the spinal cord, and those messages exit the spinal cord through all of the nerves to get to every part of the body. So you have your brain, your spinal cord, and the nerves. And as long as everything is pumping to the organs and the muscles and joints, your body works the way it's supposed to. Okay? There are some things in life that are theory, and there's some things that are law. This is a law. Whether you believe in it or not, your brain communicates through your spinal cord. The spinal cord has nerves that go to every part of the body. All right? Every day I see things in my office where literally just understanding this makes a huge difference. Because if you have a shift in the bones or an overwhelm of the brain, it causes something called a subluxation, which means that the messages from the brain to the body are being interfered with. So let me give you an example. A woman came into my office probably about 5 or 6 years ago. She was getting chronic bladder infections 7 or 8 times a year, every year. And nothing was helping her. She'd been to medical doctors, naturopaths, different diets, different medications. Obviously ending up in my office was not her first priority. But when she came in, we did an x-ray of her whole spine, and we started putting her under care. Her problem was not in the lower back, which has to do with the bladder. Her problem was up in the neck because the spinal cord was being squeezed. She'd been suffering for 7 years with chronic bladder infections. 3 months after she started getting care on her whole spine, it's now been 3 or 4 years, she's never had a bladder infection since. Because we literally turned on the power. We're not curing bladder infections, we're allowing the brain to communicate with the body. Okay? My dad had a massive heart attack when he was 53. Thankfully he survived. But when they opened him up to do a quintuple bypass surgery, what they found is scar tissue and damage to the nerves at T1, T2, and T3. So all of you in this room that sit at your desk all day doing this and you get upper back pain and neck pain, that's your body saying, hey, pay attention because something is going on here and you have to pay attention to it. It's actually a warning signal. So when people come into my office with back pain and neck pain, for me, That's a good thing, because now you're actually paying attention to what really might be the underlying cause. Stress is at epidemic levels. It is the #1 killer of our time. Most of us suffer with some type of stress. In fact, what they're finding now is up to 90% of all sickness and disease can be attributed to stress. The National Institute of Health has said that it is at such epidemic levels and it's contributing to ADD, ADHD, Alzheimer's, muscular dystrophy. Okay? It's also contributing to things like heart disease, things like diabetes, things like ulcers, irritable bowel syndrome, okay? Autism, Parkinson's, fibromyalgia, anxiety, depression. All of these are related to how your brain adapts to stress. Basically, all the information that comes in on a daily basis, your brain has to filter through, and it's your ability to adapt to the stress that you're under will determine how well you function. So now the word stress, we're not talking about just emotional stress, although that's a big one. We have physical, we have chemical, and we have emotional stress. And what happens is all of it overwhelms us and creates what we just talked about, which is a subluxation. And so what I'd actually like to do is I'd like to demonstrate, when there's one kink in the armor, so to speak, how it interrupts everything. So I'm going to try this. I think we can actually create a circle. So I want you to hold this. I'm going to have everybody hold hands. Okay? I want everybody to reach out. This is the nervous system. Okay? Everybody hold hands all the way around the table. Is there a gap? We'll know when there's not a gap. Hands. We had it for a second. Okay? Now, can you let go of your hand? Yeah, you. Okay? One person, pretend she's the thoracic spine or in the neck. Go for it again. Complete signal loss. The entire body is affected. Okay? Thank you. A very simple $2 toy that I got from my son, but it demonstrates the process. Your nervous system is connected, and it affects the entire nervous system. Now, because I'm trying to conserve time, I just wanted to explain. There is a sheet in front of you. Actually, I'm not going to show you the answer yet. There is a sheet in front of you with 9 dots. I want everybody, again, this is about thinking outside the box. This is about creating something new. I want you to pay attention to me while I'm speaking, but as we go through, you're supposed to be able to connect all of those circles with 4 lines. You can crisscross, you can lift your pen, it doesn't matter, but I want to know who can do it with 4 lines. So I'm going to continue on, but if anybody has it in 4 lines, I just want you to show me. Oh, look at you. Beautiful. Outside the box thinking. Okay, I'm not going to give you the answer yet. You guys can figure it out. But have you done this before?
In school.
Okay, but good job. So you can try as we keep going. Okay, so physical stress can be sitting at your desk. Physical stress can be sitting in the car, can be sleeping on your stomach twisted. Physical stress can be car accidents. Physical stress is what we do to our body every day just by withstanding gravity. Chemical stress is what we put in our bodies. Nicotine, caffeine, aspartame, pesticides, processed food. The list goes on and on and on. And emotional stress is really what I've listed here. Money, family, work. Okay, what does stress mean to you? We all have physical, we all have chemical, and we all have emotional stress. It just depends if you're exhibiting symptoms at this point or not. But we all deal with this on a daily basis. It's your ability to adapt to that stress that will determine if you are developing sickness or disease. Now, I base a lot of my work on somebody called Dr. Roger Sperry. He's a medical doctor. He won his Nobel Prize for his work in posture. And what he found was that over thousands of years, as humans, we have gone from being what's called quadrupeds, being on all 4, and over time we have stood up, and now we are straight on, we're called bipedal organisms. Our ear is over our shoulders. What he found in his work was that 90% of our brain is dedicated to keeping us bipedal. 10% of our brain is for thinking, digestion, immune function. All the things you think about as brain function is 10%. 90% is to keep us standing on 2 feet, withstanding gravity, balance, our motor function. 90%. So when our brains get stressed, what happens? We start reverting back to being quadrupeds. And what's the most common posture we see? Right? We're slouching, our head goes forward, our shoulders get rounded. This is not a weakness of muscles. This is not something that your mother can just tell you to stand up straight. This is a neurological problem. And your brain gets so overwhelmed and stressed with the life that we're leading that we start doing this. And when you see the older people who are now literally can't stand up, they cannot have a healthy life. Ask them how many medications they're on. Ask them the quality of their life. You cannot have good quality health when your nervous system now is being compressed like this. Oh, it did not come out. Well, this is supposed to be showing healthy posture, which is what I just talked about. Ear over shoulder, eyes on the horizon, everything should be straight. Ah, there we go. So this is proper posture. This is the most common posture we see. This person cannot be healthy. When you look like this, your spinal cord is being cut off, and it's interfering with messages. So I'm sure everybody in this room can give me a list of people in their life that has tried different medications, that has tried different treatments, they've tried different diets, different therapies, and they say, it just didn't work for me. Those things aren't bad, and most of the time they will work. But if your nervous system is under pressure because of a subluxation and your nervous system is being interfered with, none of those things will work. I use massage, naturopaths, I've had to take medication, I've tried dieting and exercising. None of that will work if your body is starting to be under pressure, which is why they will say it did not work for them. And I'm sure almost everybody in this room has a story about that. Fight or flight. This is the body's stress reaction. You see, we are meant to get stressed, and we are meant to relax. This is human evolution. But when the fight or flight mechanism, which is adrenaline pumping to your body, cortisol is being released to store fat, this was an evolutionary response based upon running away from a lion or a tiger or a dinosaur. I mean, we weren't around then, but you get what I'm saying. You're being chased. So if you have to run to a cave, you need your pupils to get larger, you need your heart rate to go up, you need all the blood flow to go to your muscles, you need your brain to be telling you to store fat because you might be in that cave for several months. But this is why people can't lose weight. The fight or flight mechanism is now being triggered by getting stuck in traffic, or by going outside your house in the morning and having to deal with all the stressors that we deal with. Okay? Your body goes into high alert, your heart rate increases, your blood pressure increases, your blood sugar increases, your respiration rate increases, okay? Everything that we just talked about. But now we are stuck in fight or flight. And the idea is we have to be able to have our body relax and calm down and get out of the fight or flight situation. Because one of the things that's happening is when your immune system is being told to be shut down because you're in fight or flight, you can't function properly anymore. So now you get sick and you get a cold. And it's because your immune system is being turned off by the fight or flight reaction. And this is called the sympathetic survival syndrome. The sympathetics are the part of your body that do stress, and we are stuck here. Okay. I want you to see who here has some brain challenge. Okay? Everybody can see her spinning, right? By a show of hands, who sees her spinning clockwise? A few people? Okay. Does anybody see her spinning counterclockwise? Okay. You can see both. Good. This is an optical illusion. Generally speaking, if you predominantly see her spinning to the right, to clockwise, you're more right brain. If you see her spinning more to the left, you're more left brain. And the challenge is on the opposite side, in general. Okay, let me give you another example. I want everybody to, if you can, stand up for a second. We're just going to do a quick exercise. Whatever your dominant hand is, I want you to start writing your name in air with that hand. Okay? Whatever your name is, start writing with your dominant hand. As you're writing your name with the same side foot, I want you to do a circle with the foot while you're writing your name. Easy, right? Yes. Okay. Okay, you can sit down. So, the writing your name is right brain. The circle with the foot is left brain. Who here couldn't write their name and reverted to their foot? Okay? More left brain. How many people here couldn't do the circle but continued to write their name? Okay? And who here just couldn't do any of it because it was overwhelming? Right? Right. These are the different sides of your brain. Not one side of your brain gets overwhelmed at the same time. Okay? Now, when we're talking about brain balance, the circumstances of your life do not determine your amount of stress. It's really the thoughts and actions, the way you perceive it. When you can change your perceptions, you can start to change your health. This will go for whether you want to make more money. This goes for whether you want better relationships, whether you want to get rid of pain. Whatever you believe is what you will see. Whatever you practice with your mind over and over is what you will get. Okay, this is why professional athletes, or especially Olympic athletes, train and go through their perfect run. Because what you are practicing every day is what you will get in your life. If you're practicing having a lack consciousness, a lack of money consciousness, a lack of love, a lack of being able to heal, then that is exactly what you're going to get. So, there's three secrets to healing. Number one, the reason I became a chiropractor is not so I could just fix people's neck pain. Okay? How many people in here have seen a dentist? Okay? How many people here saw a dentist before the age of 6 or 7 years old? Most people saw dentists as a child. Okay? But almost everybody in this room saw a dentist. How many people in this room have ever had their spine and nervous system checked for interference? Okay? Maybe 3 or 4 or 5 people out of this whole group. To me, that is completely unfathomable. Okay, what is the purpose of your spine? The number one purpose of your spine, it's armor. It protects your brain and spinal cord. Your teeth are important, don't get me wrong. But as far as I know, you can get fake teeth. If you let your spine deteriorate, your entire health, your entire life goes down the tubes with your spine. If you've never had your nervous system and brain checked, you're letting this stuff develop. That's why when people see me in their 30s, 40s, and 50s, they need a heck of a lot more work than if you come in as a kid. My children were literally assessed the day they were born on the table they were born on. And I'll never forget it because the medical doctors who I watched take the baby out of the womb, stretch her neck like crazy. It wasn't their fault. This was normal childbirth. Over 80% of children have some kind of neurologic damage right from birth. So I watched them do this. So I said, can I just have the baby? And they looked at me like, what are you going to do? And I said, I want to adjust her because she was just born and I want to make sure her system, her nervous system is okay. So the 2 nurses and 3 doctors stood around as if I was about to kill my child. I took out my pinkies, it's all you do with babies, and I felt right behind the ears, which is where C1 sits, and I just made sure it was shifting a bit to the right, which pulls at the spinal cord. I shifted it back to the middle with about an ounce of force, and the doctors all went, oh. I said, what did you think I was going to do? We just want to make sure the nervous system isn't under pressure. It can be very, very gentle. But if your nervous system is under pressure, we have to remove that pressure. Okay? Because over time, our nervous systems get so stressed, it develops these patterns that become normal. So I want to show you another example of a neurologic pattern. Take your hands, and I want you to just put them together. Don't think, just put them together. Who here has a right over left thumb? Okay? Left over right thumb? Okay. I want you to do it again. Don't think, just do it again. Don't even think about it. Who here had the exact same thumb? Right? That's a neurological process. I want you to try to do it the opposite way now. Think about it and try to do it the opposite way. Feels weird, right? It just doesn't feel normal. The brain has done this to make sure that you don't have to think about this, okay? So that's why there's a process for you to do, for you to become normal. With chiropractic, or when you come in and get your nervous system checked, we need to break these old neurological patterns that have been building for 10, 15, 20 years. And that's why it's so important to make sure that you've gotten checked and you know where your stress is, to make sure that we're doing all the right things for your spine. Okay? I have a story. This guy came in. He was in his mid-30s. He had been slapped on the hand with a hockey stick. And when he got hit by the hockey stick, it overwhelmed his entire nervous system, and he couldn't feel his hand. He had x-rays, MRIs, there was nothing there. So basically, he came to me after about 6 months of not feeling his hand. He came in, he had a blockage, a subluxation right up on the upper side of where the skull meets the brain, and it was interfering with this whole thing. So this was his first time at my office. I adjusted him. 30 seconds later, he said, "Oh my God, what's happening?" Some heat's going into his arm, and he felt his hand for the first time in 6 months. It had nothing to do with his hand, but have you ever tried to input too much into your computer, and you get that circle thing that keeps going around, and it goes, right? So he was hit so hard on the hand, it sent his nervous system into overload. And the nerve that was compressed, that allowed that hand to come back, is called the vagus nerve, and it's the main contributor to the heart. So while his hand started to get feeling back, his heart also got information that it wasn't for 6 months. Okay, secret number 2. I've given all of you a page in your handout, and it's called Creating Wellness in Your Life. This is something I want you to do at home. Basically, you cannot fix things that you don't know exist. So what you're going to do is you're going to do a list of all the physical stressors that affect you, all the chemical stressors that affect you, all the emotional stressors. You want to write down what beliefs are holding you back. Maybe you don't think you can lose weight because you just enjoy eating too much. Or you don't want to lose your headaches because your husband gives you a massage every night, and if you lose the headaches, maybe you won't get the massage. There are sometimes reasons that we hold on to these beliefs. Okay? And I want you to make a plan, a daily schedule, to include all of the things that are important to you. Now, I don't have time to go through the entire Big Rock story, but has anybody heard the Big Rock story before? Okay, I'm going to go through it quickly. You put some big rocks in a jar, okay? You fill it up to the top. The teacher asks the class, who feels the jar is full? Everybody puts up their hand. So then he pours some sand in it. He says, now who thinks it's full? Everybody puts up their hand. Then he pours some water in it. He says, now it's full. But if you would have put the water and the sand in first, there's no room for the big rocks. So don't tell me that your priorities are your health, your family, and making money, but you spend 90% of your time grocery shopping, doing laundry. You know, you've got to be doing what your priorities are. So if you stick the big rocks in first, then you'll be able to fit all the other stuff around it. Okay? I am happy to go through this in great detail with anybody afterwards. Okay? But it's a sheet that you can work on at home. The third thing is increase your capacity for stress. The two things that I want to talk about today, one is called psychology kinesiology, and the other one is called MindFit. I don't know if anybody here did the demos when I brought at the health fair, the MindFit demo. MindFit is something that uses light and sound, and what it helps to do is balance your brain. And it allows your body to relax and allows the brain to start getting into a nice rhythm. It starts to decrease your stress, and it also has spoken word, which helps you rehearse some of the things you want in your life. Psyche is about getting rid of subconscious beliefs. So I want to do a demo. Would you be a demo for me? What's your name?
Anil.
Anil? Come on up, Anil. Okay. I want you to face the audience. So I want to show you how we can tap into the subconscious. I don't know if any of you have ever seen muscle testing before, but what I want you to do, Anil, you're gonna just let your arm relax. Okay? Don't let me push down. I want you to hold your arm up. Okay? When I say be strong, you don't have to repeat be strong. You just have to keep your arm up, okay? Be strong. Good. Now, I want you to look forward and just say, my name is Emil.
My name is Emil.
Be strong. Okay, see how strong he is when he says that. Say, my name is Susan.
My name is Susan.
Be strong.
My name is Susan.
Okay. In your head, you don't have to say it out loud. In your head, I want you to think of the word no. Okay?
No.
Be strong. Think of the word yes in your head. Be strong. Think of something that you really love, okay? Be strong. Think of something that you really don't like, and be strong. This works every time, okay? This is not a parlor trick. When your subconscious is negative and it doesn't match what your conscious mind says, your muscle goes weak. So this is a way of us determining what your subconscious mind is saying. But let's say we tested him. My body's healing quickly and easily and I'm feeling better all the time. And it's weak. He doesn't believe he can heal. I can attain my optimal weight. It's weak, right? We can start, I've worked with people with relationships, with money issues, with health issues, because we want to find out what the subconscious thinks. Just this morning, my daughter came in, or my son came into my room, and my son says, Jessica said she hates me. So I had my daughter stand and I said, I want you to say, I love you. And her hand was strong. I said, I want you to say, I hate you. And it was weak. I said, I don't want you saying I hate you, not because you really care about your brother, but because you care about yourself. Because when you say I hate you, your nervous system gets weak. So it's not always about the other person, it's about you. If you want to change some of your subconscious beliefs, we have to figure out what they are. Okay. So this is about the self-mastery technology. Basically, it goes right into the optic nerve, and you hear sounds, and it's affecting your brain waves. Beta is normal waking state. Alpha is when you're reading a book. Theta is when you're dreaming, and deep sleep is when you are in delta. The idea is when you do this, I want to just get to... Good. When you do the mind fit, it increases your norepinephrine by 11%. Keeps you awake. Okay, that's why we have insomnia programs. It increases your serotonin levels. Instead of antidepressants, it increases your mood. Beta endorphins increase by 25%, and it kills pain. It's a 100% natural solution, which is why I'm so excited about adding this brain spot to my practice. It is just really unbelievable how it works. So what we have seen is improved vision, accelerated learning, balanced brain and hemispheres, normalized blood pressure. I mean, it's just amazing what all of the research is now showing. And this is, neurological research is where all of the money is being spent now, because you'll see in the next 10 or 15 years, everything is going to be brain-based. Okay, so what we were talking about is programming your mind so that it will be able to function and be able to rehearse what it is that you want. If you want more energy, if you want more wealth, if you want a better job, if you want to have better relationships, you need to be able to change some of your belief patterns. So Psych K and something like the Mind Fit is one way of adapting and getting your brain to start to learn. So you get what you rehearse in your life. If you're rehearsing misery, guess what? You're going to get misery. It is not easy to get out of bed when you're depressed or anxious or when you're worried. But you have to force yourself to start doing some positive things to change your life. Managing your stress is the first step to achieving the life that you want. Okay? So, I know we went through a lot of information. This really could be a 2.5 hour lecture, and I understand that. But I hope that you have a few things that resonated with you. And really, I hope I have some questions afterwards from people who want to know how to utilize some of this. I know this is your lunch hour, so I want to thank you very much for spending it. I appreciate your time because I know how valuable your time is. But the fact is stress is at epidemic proportions. The fact is that our brain cannot function when it's being overwhelmed with stress, and that over 90% of disease is caused by stress. So it's always shocking to me when I ask people when they saw a dentist and if they've ever had their nervous system assessed. Almost nobody in this room, except for maybe 3 or 4 people, have ever had their brain and nervous system assessed. So although this group is much larger than what I usually accommodate in terms of offering any type of ability to come and do this, I would not feel good about myself if I didn't allow everybody in this room that wants to get their spine and nervous system assessed for absolutely no cost and no obligation. The fact is I don't want you to be procrastinating, and I don't want you to think that this doesn't apply to you. My assistant Lauren is here, my other assistant Susan is here. As long as you book in today, you don't have to even have a time. If you know a time, great. If you just want to give us your name, I will do this for you and your entire family. Everybody's got to get checked, okay? I don't want you to be able to not leave here and procrastinate and say, oh, I'll do it. If you do it today, there is no cost and no obligation. I promise you that. We're not talking about curing all disease. What we're talking about is getting to the bottom, to the heart of why you have these diseases. This applies to heart disease, diabetes, irritable bowel, ulcers, insomnia, headaches, allergies, sinus problems, any health condition if your nervous system is not functioning properly. The reason I do this, and hopefully you see that coming from me, is I've been a chiropractor for almost 20 years. And I'm really tired of watching people suffer endlessly. I have people that have been suffering for years and had no idea how the brain and nervous system worked. I simply want to help more people. Everybody has to have a reason to get out of bed in the morning. My reason is to come and do these workshops, to come and help people. So I really hope that you will take me up on my offer. We will go through a full exam, a full history, a consultation, and a scan of your nervous system. I don't know if I can help you, but afterwards, if I can help you, I will tell you exactly what we should do and give you a plan. And if I can't help you, I will tell you that, and I will try to direct you to someone that can. So please, don't make an appointment just because I'm telling you to. I want you to make an appointment because it's time to figure out what's really going on with your health and for you to try to create the life that you've always wanted. So I appreciate your time and I appreciate you all being here. Susan and Lauren will be over here. I'm here for some questions, and if you'd come up and make an appointment, I really look forward to seeing you in my office, and thank you very much for being here.
Thank you.